could wear this on a date.
People who are most successful are the ones who don't just give up.
Hey, how good are these to-go boxes?
Our to-go boxes, they're not good. They're f***ing amazing. How did we get started here at Albemarle Paper? Well, late 2008, my cousin John and I started this paper company, and we got all sorts of different products.
Hey, Nick, come on, man. Let's get to work.
You got cleaning products, too? You got a party this weekend? We got your back. Anything you need here at APS. Plates, napkins, silverware, table covers. We got everything covered, right, boys? What other items do we carry? Paper towels? I got it. Toilet paper? I got it. Gloves? We got you. Pizza boxes? You're probably wondering, where are we? Where's Albemarle Paper? Don't you worry about that. We got you. I'll bring the product to your front door. See you guys.
We are messiahs, the mighty 305. We are from Messi land, sangre rosada y negra. Hello, and welcome to an all-new episode of Messi League Corner, one of the greatest corners in the world with one of the greatest players in our league. No, I am sorry. I apologize. The greatest player to ever exist, Major League Messi, the Messiah, Lionel Messi Cutuccini, is in our league. Lee said, hey, don't talk about Messi tonight. How can we not talk about the GOAT? A man who already has 3 goals for Inter Miami. Not 1, not 2, but 3. Lee, my man, how are you tonight?
Oh, are we doing the show? I wasn't sure if this is just one of those messy, like, love things that you do, man. Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure just because of the messy thing, right? I mean, I don't know, man. I'm kind of ready for you to move, to be honest.
Yo, for real, dog. Listen, top bin 305, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think somebody just needs to, like,
Listen, dog, if Messi has 1,000 fans, I'm one of them. If Messi has only 1 fan, I'm the one.
I'm out.
Messi has no fans, and I'm no longer here.
Not doing this tonight. Not doing it.
My man Brian, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well. I just want to shout out to all the real fans out there who are following us and watching us instead of watching Messi like Jorge is over there.
Yeah, bring it back, Brian. Bring it back.
The guy running the show is watching Messi. Nice. Is he playing on turf tonight? That's hilarious.
They're in Miami, right?
Yeah. Mr. David, how are you tonight?
I'm good. Always a pleasure to be on the show. Appreciate you having me back.
It is. And Juan says he's watching both. Great. You got to watch the GOAT, and you also have to watch the GOAT show. I mean, that's why God gave you 2 eyes. One to watch Messi and one to watch MLS Corner.
See, I had to wear glasses when I was a kid because of that.
No, you have to wear glasses. You're a Spurs fan.
See, no, you want to. I want to. All right, fair. Go ahead, Jorge. It's gonna be a long night. We do, Trent. This is gonna be all over the place, isn't it?
It is. But kind of like Charlotte FC, a little bit all over the place. And so tonight we got a lot of things to talk about. We're gonna touch on the Leagues Cup. We're gonna touch on Ivan Jaime to Charlotte FC.
Jamie.
All right, Jamie.
I can pronounce that one.
Right, and then we'll also preview our next game in the Leagues Cup. So first, I want to start off by talking a little bit about this lineup in the Leagues Cup. Right, one of the interesting things that we saw was that Privet got his start right next to Jan Sobocinski. We saw Vernon Lindsay as our fullbacks, Bronico Arfield Westwood in the front 3 of Soderski, Jozwiak, and Meram. Lee, start us off with the show tonight, my man. What were your initial thoughts of this lineup?
I mean, I was just finding a couple of things. Like, he finally started playing people in their traditional positions, maybe not on the left back, right? But overall, I mean, we don't have a left back. Apparently, like Mora is just like vanished into thin air, right? And
For real.
you know, I mean, the only thing I think Bender needs to start, man. Yeah, I know he did bring up the Spurs, and we're gonna win the whole thing. But yeah, so till September, and then you know, I think Bender just needs to start. If Bender doesn't start this Saturday, you know, I don't know what that guy needs to do. You know, we've talked about it and touched on it many times, right? It seems like these guys that get on some sort of rhythm or they start really performing, somehow they get benched for a couple of games. It's like this is Latanzio off. So I don't know. I would
You're
put
doing
Bender.
well, Vince.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like you're training great, you're scoring goals, you're winning us games, but we're gonna bench you. We need more out of you.
For
So,
sure.
But yeah, I mean, you know, overall, I think he did all right. I mean, you know, I think we were unlucky to actually win that game outright with that offside call, but it is the rule of the game, and therefore we just have to suck it up. And you know, shout out to Kalina for making all them saves.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I feel like contrary to most games where like it seems that luck isn't in our favor, I felt like we had some luck in this game. You know, I mean, that first half. I mean, to be honest, up until like minute 60, 65, this team looked lifeless to me.
Yeah, but you know
I
what?
mean, it looked like it depicted that exact stadium, a dead stadium
It was dead.
with a dead visiting team.
But you know what, though, man? If we were playing Miami, it would have been a completely different story, man. We need to start showing up and being in the game for longer than 10, 15 minutes.
For sure. Brian, what did you make of the game?
Yeah, I mean, a few points. I think Privet actually showed up really well. I was definitely concerned about him starting at center back. I honestly thought he composed himself pretty well and also like played a lot of good passes out of the back. I was excited to see Jalen Lindsey back in the lineup, and then he like immediately does a really terrible back pass that almost leads to a goal. And then even though Bronico was kind of set up at the 6, I honestly thought he was playing pretty far forward a lot of the time. And I'm like, if he's going to play that far forward, why wouldn't you play Bender there? As Lee was saying, like if you're going to have like between Bronico and Bender playing as like a more forward role, making those runs in behind, Bender is just finishing.
Well, you saw that, right, on the goal.
Yeah, I mean, and he's just
Amen.
like he can't stop like getting involved in goals whenever he's on the pitch, which isn't often. But I mean, he's got to be leading the team in goal contributions. Like when it comes to like minutes per goal contribution, I would imagine he's close up there just because he's not getting playing time and he's scoring every time he's out there. So I would definitely hope to see Bender start. Other than that, I mean, like we said, I mean, I definitely felt like the team was pretty lifeless for 60 minutes until the young guys came on. Ajuman, Cambridge, Bender came on. The game really started to actually pick up a little bit of life for Charlotte. Up until that point, it was pretty dead. And honestly, like Ferreira, I don't know what he was doing on counters. Like he had so many opportunities in on goal where he just like stopped and then like played it back. And I was like, man, he's doing a Charlotte. Charlotte. But he was in on goal like twice. And then so I was really surprised by that he didn't pull through for them, because I think the game could have been out in like maybe the 60th or 70th minute and they could have been up 3 or 4-1. And then Charlotte got a little lucky, like you said, and they were able to bounce back. Kalina made a couple good saves too. And then he made obviously the PKs. I mean, Kalina was on fire in the PKs. I was like really impressed by him.
Yeah.
Marks would have scored though.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, David, talk to me about the penalty, and I want to hear from everybody in the comment section as well. You know, looking at a close-up play of it, I got to be honest. That was a very, 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 very soft penalty, to say the least.
Soft, but it's still a penalty at the end of the day. Like when I first seen it, I was like, that ain't a penalty. But then when they played it back, seen step on the foot, absolute penalty. I've seen more that hasn't been given for a penalty, and I've seen less that has been given for a penalty. But at the end of the day, I feel like the referee made the correct decision on the penalty.
Yeah, I gotta say, you know, we needed some of that luck. You know, Latanzio needed some of that luck, right? Because I mean, you've seen it. I mean, in theory, we're still winless in what, 9 now or 10? 10 games, right?
Oh, we won, man.
No, yeah, there's no ties in the Leagues Cup.
No,
Yeah,
that's a W, man.
technically it went.
And
It's
like you
a win.
guys
It's
said,
like we beat Chelsea on penalties.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
And then we broke them that year. But
Love you, David.
here's another question I have, and I want to hear from everybody in the comments section as well. I know we mentioned it like Brian did when you saw the youngsters come in. There was a different energy into the team, right? A lot of the things that Latanzio has been mentioning in the past is the squad needs leadership. They've added players, right? Over 30, as everybody's like saying, and players with experience. But when it was time to take the penalties, after Swiderski, it was Ben Bender, Brandon Cameron, and Patrick Ajiman. I mean,
We're all subs.
who were all subs to say the least, right? I mean, so what's the point? Like, this is kind of confusing to me, right? What was the thought process of putting these kids to take the penalties, knowing that you needed to get some points or needed some positivity out of this game, right? Which luckily he got by getting those points. Lee, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, again, kudos to the young guys for stepping up. And, I'm sure it was a bit of a pressure cooker for them, right? Especially the way the team's been performing as of late. I mean, do you give kudos to Latanzio for the subs he made in time for the penalties? Because I felt like once it tied up, it was more that we were playing for penalties versus the end. I mean, obviously because Bender scored late at the end. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Bender needs to start, right? I don't think Bronico is going to get benched anytime soon, but whatever reason, Latanzio just won't bench Bronico. I'm not saying that. I mean, Bronico's a good guy, right? But at the same time, I think
It was just non-existent that game.
Yeah, I mean, the writing's on the wall for him, though, with the players that we're starting to be linked with and that sort of thing. Like, is he really going to have that starting position anymore, right? But to your question, I just think, somebody said it in the comments, fresher legs, right? And,
this is a good point. Like, they get them Pens practice with Crown Legacy.
Yeah, that's true, too. Yeah, but Bender doesn't play for Legacy.
Yeah, he played one game for Legacy, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but
and scored that game.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I'd be very surprised if Bender doesn't get a start this weekend. If he does, if he doesn't start, I will I have no idea if Latanzio.
Yeah, I mean, honestly though, I mean, the pressure really is on Latanzio because we got away with it, and I mean that buys him some times. But the reality is, the way we play isn't good. His players are confused. The team doesn't seem to have a life to it, right? And that's starting to be
fair, though. I mean, the team really, even last season, like before Latanzio's time, they always were flat, right? And they never really had a big spark. They never looked like they had their tails up and ready to play a game, right? They always kind of came out flat and kind of played to the opposition.
I think it depends. The team was a mirror of what I like to call the Yordi Reyna effect. In the first couple of minutes, you knew if Yordi Reyna was about to ball out or he was just going to be insignificant that game.
Yeah.
That's a lot how the team was last year. This year, we saw some of that, but now I'm just starting to see players confused. I'm starting to see a disconnection between the front office, the team, the coach, and these are very concerning signs to me.
It's an Italian ball, man.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, right, Zoran and co. in the front office betted on Latanzio, and right now that bet is not looking good, right? Brian, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, and Lee, when we were on the watch along, I think we mentioned this multiple times, just like they were missing a lot of just pretty simple passes again, which is what Westwood brought up. I mean, especially like they would progress the ball like pretty well at times, like methodically, kind of slow, which is pretty par for the course for Charlotte, but get it up, build up into the final third. And then once they get there, I mean, there was one time when Miram took on 3 defenders, 1v1, beat them all, and then didn't have a pass into the box. I don't know how that's possible. How can you not have an open guy when you've just beaten 3 dudes? That should be impossible. You've just neutralized half the defensive line. There should be another play from there. So, and I think that's honestly been one of the issues where I just keep seeing this team is they might do something good or progress the ball in some way, and then the pass either doesn't come off or they're not there to make the next pass happen. There's just a lot of disconnect, especially in that final third, which is why they're making moves in the way they are, right? I mean, because I also feel like Dallas didn't really respect our attack at all, which is fair. Our attack's been kind of lifeless, and so that's where I feel like they had a lot of attacking options on their end, and that puts more pressure on Charlotte's back line, and that's kind of been the story of the season all year.
It's a slow game to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it was I mean, for us, I mean, I felt like we were talking about it kind of being a snooze fest at times.
Yeah.
For that first, at least close to that first hours, it was really predictable what Charlotte was trying to do. They didn't have a ton of shots. They had that penalty, and then that was pretty much really it. I think we only had one other shot for quite a while. I feel like, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I mean, Crown Breakdown says it too, right? I mean, there's never secondary runs into the box.
Yeah,
like I don't know. I mean, I get tired of talking about it, right? The team, pretty much, I'd say 90% of the season has just looked lackluster. It's just been slow, boring Italian football, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not knocking on the Italians. It's their style of play, right? I mean, you
right.
They just scored the 1-0s and that sort of thing.
And it's difficult too to give the team the benefit of the doubt too. But I mean, it's one thing to say, you're starting with an inexperienced center back pairing of Privet and Jan Swaczynski, but at the same time, the whole team looks bad.
Yeah.
Right? So that has to go back on the coaching. That has to go back on what is the message that's being said to these guys, right? Luckily, that penalty brought the team some life. Because outside of that, I think if we would have lost that game, things would be very, very sour right now, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Do we want the team to go far in the Leagues Cup?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the only positive we got going for us right now.
For sure.
Right now, we're in a very good position where if Dallas loses tonight, we're easily into the next round. Like, we're good. But
if only
Lee, what is your problem?
Hold on a second. Let me say my point. No.
Spurs fan.
No. I've got a point to make here. I've got a point to make here. If
go ahead.
we arrested our players during the U.S. Open Cup, we could have probably had a run in it too.
That's facts. George said the same thing.
We
didn't listen.
I was seeing if he called on.
That's facts. We didn't listen.
Yeah,
I'm upset by that one.
Yeah. We should.
Freaking Birmingham.
I was all for it. Rest the players, man. Let's make a run in the cup.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody wanted to hear it. I'm over here on the island by myself, man.
All right. Talking about players, yesterday, it was reported that Charlotte is interested in Ivan Hyman, and they are preparing to launch a bid of around $7.75 million for the 22-year-old Spaniard, according to Abola, right? It sounds like Porto is also in the game for him, right? We said midfielder, but looking through what he potentially can bring, right? He's most likely going to play as a winger. Honestly, I've been watching film on this guy. Very, very exciting player. Although I felt the same about Enzo. I cannot lie. So I have to have a little bit of some reserve, right, when it comes to being exciting about signings. Because honestly, if we look at our DPs, if we look at our U22s, players that are supposed to be making an impact, in my opinion, the only one that's been meriting that status right now is Karol Swiderski. Brian,
I don't think that's fair on y'all's, though.
How is it not fair on y'all?
I mean, because he was balling out until he got hurt.
Yeah, and then
But he had a whole season last season that he did nothing.
Hurt half the season last season.
Still.
Yeah, great man. Yeah, for sure. Brian, what can you tell us about this player?
I mean, he's a shooter, and that's what we don't have for the wings. We don't have any guys really. I mean, Vargas at times has looked like a goal scoring threat, but we haven't really had a goal scoring threat on the wings. Vaughn brought up some really, I think, valuable stats last week in terms of just how few shots a lot of our wingers have, and that's what this guy brings. I mean, he had double-digit goal contributions this last year for one of the smaller Portuguese teams in the first Portuguese. I mean, he's played Porto, Sporting, right? So he's played top-level competition and scored. I reached out to a couple of people in Portugal who know a little bit more about the league. They all say he's an absolute baller and that Porto is also really pushing for him. So this would be if Charlotte find a way to beat out like a club like Porto for a player like this, I mean, that would be a massive, massive statement. At this point, I mean, they need more goal scoring threat. I'm interested to see how he would potentially play alongside Capetti, because I feel like one thing that we've kind of forgotten, because he hasn't gotten a lot of goals himself, but when he was starting, the wingers were starting to produce. Vargas was starting to score a couple. Uzviak was starting to produce. And I think we do need to give Capetti some of that credit for opening up those spaces for them. I'm interested in what that would look like with Jaime, who's really looking for a scoring, like looking to shoot and looking to score a bunch of goals, how that would match up with a Capetti. We'll see if we can see that happen.
You know what? This is what I think. Nick Kelly last season, he went over to England and hung out with Daniel Levy from Spurs, right? Spurs is linked with everybody. We're linked with Mbappe, for instance, right? So this is what they're doing. They're going to link Charlotte's going to all of a sudden get linked with all these players, and we're going to get excited, and nothing's going to happen.
And that's why we need to stay in the Leagues Cup, because otherwise that's all we'll have for a month.
For sure. Yeah. Dang, I had a really good point, but then I saw Messi on the ball. Just kidding.
Míralo.
Nice. Let's talk a little bit about.
They just. That was a good goal. That was a good goal. I'm sorry, but
we have to play this team next in MLS.
In the cup, if we both win our leagues, right?
That's facts. There might be twice. We might see them 3 times by the end of the season.
This year.
Miami winning it all. They're
It's
going to win
gonna
the whole.
be a good old rivalry. Easy top bin Messi for sure.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of this Messi train, man.
Come on, dog.
It's enough, man. You've overplayed it. You've overplayed it.
What a ball. Go
That
last.
was, yeah.
All right.
Come on, man. Let's do the
Back
show.
to a regular scheduled program, right? All right. One of the things I like about this move, right, is the ambition behind it, right? You know? But, right, and Brian, shameless plug, put out a great article today about some of the options that Charlotte has to sign Ivan, right? Ivan, right? If you're looking to pronounce it in Spanish. If you had to make the choice and sell one of your DPs for Ivan Jaime, what DP would you sell? And I want to hear from everybody in the comments section. I mean, by looking on Twitter and Instagram, it was pretty obvious who y'all want out, right? But I'm going to go ahead and start off with you, David. Talk to us of if you had to be forced to get rid of one DP, who would it be?
Me personally, I'd get rid of Uzviak because he's already had call it a half season, whatever you want. He's already had a season with the team. Didn't really produce nothing. Came back the next season, had a little bit of a run. Unfortunately, got hurt. Yada yada yada. But honestly, he just hasn't been the most impressive person to me. Swiderski, he's been okay here and there, done great from several games, but honestly hasn't lived up to the expectations we expected. Same thing with Copetti. He's what you want in a striker. He's that fiery guy. He's that bully up top. He just hasn't had the product, the service, and the end product. But in my opinion, I'd sell Uzviak if I had to get rid of one of them.
Dang, he get rid of Camille. Brian?
Well, so I mean, I guess you could go at the options in terms of performance, which you could say Camille or Capetti, but the thing is, they just don't have any transfer value. There's and they can't cut them because they've already cut their one player this offseason in Jordi Reyna. So it really comes down to how much they really want. I mean, Ivan Jaime, right? So if he's really the guy they want to make a move on, I think the only option that could actually present itself as viable is transferring Swiderski, because he's the only one that has any transfer value. There's no other way to get. I mean, there's no way they're recouping anything probably at this point for Capetti because he's hurt, and Uzviak has been knocked like knocked in and out with injuries and hasn't really performed consistently and got like kind of demoted from the Polish national team. So he's been on a downward trajectory as well. So I just don't know if there's even viable options available for either of them. And then on top of that, like, so I think Swiderski might. So that's the thing. I mean, but then he's also
Don't
been
manifest that, man. Don't manifest that.
I'm just trying to bring like both perspective. I mean, because like obviously you say Capetti or Yas because like Swiderski's been the most productive player out of the three. But when you're the only one that's producing out of the three, you're also the only one that can be moved because nobody's going to take. I mean, I don't think anybody would take Capetti right now because he's hurt. Like who would take a hurt? Only Charlotte FC are taking the hurt players, right? Like this.
No,
We get that discount, man.
no,
We get
listen.
that,
When we first were
Dollar
linked with
General.
him, when we were first linked with both Camille and Enzo, guess what? They were hurt.
Yeah, they
Right?
were.
And
Yeah.
guess
They were
what?
sitting on the bench.
Camille has been injured consistently this season, and so has Enzo.
That's
Right?
crazy.
Lee, who would you get rid of?
I'm torn, right? So, all right, trying to think about this logically, right? Obviously, Enzo and Carroll are not going to play up top together, right?
Right.
I don't think when Enzo's playing and Carroll drops back, that's the best for the team because I feel like Carroll is definitely performing better than Enzo up top currently, right?
Currently, yeah.
You can't flip him, right? Because Enzo just won't play in that role. But then you look at Jaws and his contract, right? He's a DP, but really he's not a DP player, right? And I'm not sure how they structured it, but I've been trying to understand the rules around like buying him down and all that kind of stuff, and I don't see that happening either. So, I mean, to have a DP tag on Jaws and, unfortunately, money-wise, I think that would be the easiest way to do it. But then I look at like moving forward to next season and then squad-wise, it's like, well, how do you put Carroll and Capetti in the same team together unless you play like a 4-4-2 or something. And then the players we're linked to, it doesn't seem like we're going with that formation. We seem to be going more with like a 4-3-3, right? So, and then the question is the Jamie fellow, is he a right winger? I haven't, so I mean that's where Jaws plays, right? So if we get rid of Jaws, is it a trade off, or is he a left winger and then we're gonna have to like switch Vargas or somebody over?
Yeah. So here's the things. If we look at we have to look at a couple of things to put perspective on this, right? One are the recent signings that Charlotte FC have made, right?
Yeah.
We've added in Scott Arfield. We've added in Brek De Jager.
Yep.
Right. So 2 experienced midfielders that are supposed to come in, right, and make an impact. I'm sure that these guys aren't coming in to be on the bench, right?
No, I think Arfield's doing pretty good so
right.
far.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm saying like these guys came in,
Yeah.
they're gonna be starters, right? And then you have Westwood already there, right? So in terms of playing Swiderski in the midfield, that's not gonna happen anymore.
I'm not a fan
Right?
of that.
So now he gets moved into what? That 9 role, because we've seen it this season that he's ineffective as a winger, right? Latanzo's tried him there before, and it's just not his best position to utilize Swiderski. So now what happens? Now we have a DP striker in Enzo Copetti, and we have a DP striker in Karol Swiderski, right? And if we're going to play a 4-3-3, right, we can't play both of them at the 9. So at this point, at least one of them becomes one.
Benched.
Yeah, you have to get rid of one because you're not going to pay to have another DP sitting on the bench at the 9. You're not going to pay as for a backup 9. That would be stupid. That would be more
It'd be interesting to see how it pans out, right?
Right. So that's one thing. The second thing you have to take a look at, right, is where we are currently, right? Look at the structure of the team. Right now, the team is sitting, 12th in MLS, right? The front office betted on a coach, right? Which, to be fair, when Latanjo was signed, I was all for Latanjo, right? Now looking back, now I'm like, oof, right? A lot has happened, right? So a lot of people in that front office, right? Their continuity with the club is now being questioned. Why? Because in 2 seasons you failed to produce, right? And in
One.
2 seasons, you had a coach that that got fired, right? And then you have another coach now that's fighting to stay the coach at Charlotte FC, right? So you have to take these things into context. And now what happens, right? You're getting linked with a player, right, that from the outside looking in and just looking through film and seeing the type of player, this guy's a baller. So if I'm Zoran, if I'm the guys that make these key decisions in the front office, you're going to do whatever it takes to try to get this guy in, right?
Yeah,
and I think that comes at the expense of Karol Swiderski or Enzo or both at this point, right? Why? Because they're going to be interested in maintaining their jobs long term and seeing what they can do, right? Because the reality is they have 11 games when we come back in MLS, unless some miracle happens and we win the league's cup, right? Then it's going to be very, very difficult to say at the end of this season that this season was a successful season if you don't make playoffs, right? So 11 games left, right? If I'm the guys in charge at the front office, if this is the structure of the team right now, if my job is being put on the line, you're going to try to get this player in by any means necessary, right?
But then you can flip that, right? If you're that player coming in and you got Porto chasing you, you see what kind of, I wouldn't say we're in shambles, but we're not doing very good, right? We don't know if the coach is going to be around next season. We're not performing up to, really?
Money talks, dog.
You don't think Porto would pay?
Yeah, they would, but I don't know how much they're going to pay, right?
I mean,
so,
I don't know.
I mean, you have to understand, if you're competing against Porto or MLS, then you have to put money up. No one's going to come here for less money and reject Porto to come play at Charlotte FC, right?
Well, that's my point, right? I think Porto just as a club overall has a bit of an upper hand on us right now.
Of course.
It'd be different if we were like up there, you know.
I think even if we were first right now and Porto was struggling, they would still have the upper hand.
I think it would be a little different. But I mean, the thing is, it's like you get brought in by a coach that maybe let go next year. Do you get any playing time next year? You're going to get shipped out too, right?
But here's the thing, though, right? I mean, based on what Latanzio says, the technical staff, the front office, right? They decide the players. He gives the recommendations, and they decide the profile of player that comes.
I mean, that's typically how it works, though, with the sporting director and all that, anyways, right? But I guess my point is, if I'm that player being young, and I've got a semi-decent European club knocking at my door, also interested in, even if the pay was off by $1 million, right? I'd still kind of lean towards Europe, you know, for lack of better terms, better competition, right? More chance to grow and.
For sure. I mean, there's a couple of factors that you take a look at that I think as well, right? Okay, am I going to play? Am I going to be important? Is Ivan's opportunity right now, is he thinking, hey, this is my one chance, or can I come to MLS and still make that springboard? Because a lot of players can still do that, right? This is still an exciting league, right? So there's a lot of things that happen, right? Or that you have to take into account when you're trying to sign a player. I'm just saying, if I'm the front office and you need a boost of morale and you need someone to come and make a change, right? They're going to do what they want. They got to do to get this player.
Yeah.
I don't think I think it's gotten to a point now where, you know what, like, in my opinion, Swiderski has done enough to be a DP, but you know what? It doesn't seem like he's going to be a player that's going to be here long term.
Yeah, I mean, I want to answer Sean's question. He says, more money in America. I mean, if I'm young, would I want to live in Portugal or America? It's not so much America, right? It's, do I want to live in Charlotte or Portugal?
Bro, they don't have Cookout or Bojangles in Portugal.
Dude, you can just jump in on a train and you can be anywhere in Europe.
Jorge, you've been dropping his name the whole show, and the one time when it was like really a viable argument here, Messi. So the other intangible to this is Messi.
That's not Brian.
Well, because
Messi
can change things, right? So like, I mean, he might want to come because I mean he could get to play Messi twice the rest of this year, right? So like, well, Porto
Maybe
could
three
be an opportunity, maybe 3, right? So Porto can give him some eyes on, But with Messi here, if he gets 2 to 3 chances against Messi's team, that's international coverage as
But
well.
that's 2 or 3 times out of the season when he could be in
facts.
Europe where they're going to be playing, Champions League, for instance,
If
or
he-
whatever,
if he
right?
starts-
They're going to
if
be
he
up
starts,
against
do you
some of
think
these
he's-
bigger names in the world of soccer.
But does he
Right.
But
start
we also
automatically
don't
in
know.
the Champions League? Does he
I mean, look
automatically
at Latanzio. Like he doesn't like to start players that are balling out, so that means he might
He
have
would
to start
start.
here.
There's no
Okay.
way. There's no way he doesn't.
He would
start.
definitely
How often do we bench
Gone
Jaws? How
immediately.
often do we bench
Yeah.
Jaws? He's a
I
DP.
mean, if
But
you
he
just see the
started
quality,
Capetti
he
every
would.
minute. He started Capetti every minute that he was healthy, and that's like
Yeah.
Latanzio. This would be Latanzio would have to view Jaime like Capetti as like he's one of my era DPs, and he would have to play him every minute for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, it brings in. It's obviously an interesting conversation. It's obviously. I mean, the reality is that the window closes in a week and a half, less
Yeah,
than that,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
They've got to get players over the line. I don't know if they'll get Ivan over the line. I do know that there's a left back that should be that they're trying to seal right now. So hopefully that goes through. We'll have more information on that soon, right? But you heard it here first. I definitely think that they'll get that left back over the line before.
I don't think Jamie
the end.
Tommy is coming.
Yeah, it'll be difficult,
Yeah.
right? There's so many moving parts. But at the end of the day, too, last year, Zoran mentioned that, Swiderski, we're not selling him for anything less than 10 million, right? Like, he was very, adamant about it. 12 months later, I'm not so sure he's that adamant to keep Karol Swiderski in this squad, right? So
I don't know. I guess to answer your question, I think I would rather ship out Capetti than anybody else.
yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, if we're looking just based off production, right?
Yeah.
And I think what also rubs Copetti the wrong way too is just his attitude.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that's
something that you love and you hate at the same time, right? If you're not producing, you're gonna hate it, right? If he was out here scoring bangers every weekend, we would put up with it. We'd be like, heck yeah, continue to be the crazy, toxic guy that you appear to
Do you
be.
think he's that way with his teammates too?
I don't know.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I just think that's the way he is when he's in the game because he's passionate. He wants to be on the end of those crosses. He wants to score goal, and he just doesn't have that product. It gets him mad. He's a very passionate player, and he shows his emotion. He wears them on his sleeve.
Yeah.
That's
I'd
Copetti.
Hire Miami's cap guy. Bro, that would be the best solution. Honestly.
Miami did it smart though.
Set in stone, we won't make playoffs.
I mean, I said I mean, not to get into Miami. I mean, if you was a real fan, Esteban, you'd be at the game anyways. But the thing is, how I have a hard time understanding how they're getting these players in and still being in these salary cap rules when we're over here trying to figure out how to get somebody that's worth $8 million and we can't figure out how to get him in.
We have no product, man. We're not winning any games. We're not scoring.
Yeah, but I mean,
we are scoring, but we're not producing.
That also goes into another issue, like the roster build, right? I mean, we talked about
We
it
have no
last
chemistry.
year.
No, we have
talked
no
about it on the
chemistry.
last show. So, I mean,
And
there's
it
a lot of
showed
things.
last game.
The reality is that we're 23 games into the season. We're in the League's Cup, right? We really have no idea what we're going to see from Charlotte FC, right? And as weeks pass, we don't see improvement. We really just are hoping that the team shows up and either we get a lucky break or Ben comes in and saves us, or you know what I'm saying? We're depending on. It's funny because we're depending on the youngsters now. Versus,
And that's good though. That's good. It's good that we are at some point.
It's not when
questioning out the old guys.
It's not when it's been preached that we need leadership. We lack all these other things, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, some of these players outside of MLS are young, 23, 24, captain their teams and balling out. So, I mean, I don't think age really matters about leadership there. Maybe it's, you respect the older ones more because they've done more. But I mean, leadership wise, I don't care. I mean, you could be a young 21-year-old as long as you're balling out and showing me on the pitch that you can play. That's the leadership
I
we
feel
need.
I feel like we already have the leadership out there though. We done got Westwood, we got Arfield,
Yeah.
we got Miriam, but I just feel like it's time to start utilizing the young players with those people that are taking those leadership roles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We saw it with Dallas this last game. Like as soon as we saw the youngsters come on, we saw an instant difference on the team. We saw a lifeline on the team. Bender scored within 11 minutes of being on the field.
Like you
Like
said,
it's just
though, we just got no chemistry. I see more chemistry
Exactly.
watching Breaking Bad.
that's facts.
Miriam has disappeared. I gotta say, like Miriam has definitely like
And you
gone
know what
down.
though? He was balling out and got benched. That's what we keep
Yeah,
saying.
that's true.
Right? Bender
That is true.
was balling out, got benched. Man, anybody that balls out gets benched. So here comes this $8 million young whiz kid that's going to put in a couple of fucking great performances, and then nope, got to sit on the bench, buddy. You're doing
the
too
beauty
good.
is there'll only be 11 games.
Yeah,
so
don't
hopefully-
ruin my reputation of being a slow, incompetent manager, right?
No. When is Andre gone? Very, very soon, right? I heard also. I can't confirm this though, but I'm definitely.
soon
I'm
enough.
excited with seeing Messi tonight, so I'm gonna tell you
What can't you confirm, Jorge?
all the secrets, right? That
Can't you
even
confirm?
he might even end up playing USL for the rest of the season.
Who, Andre?
Yeah,
You heard that?
yeah, dog. So
I mean, hey, man, get match fit and go back at it,
yeah, for sure. So I mean, at some point, like you gotta I guess So I'm sure. I mean, they're working very, very hard right now to get him off, and they'll definitely get him off. All
Not
right.
touching that.
Let's talk a little bit more about this Leagues Cup, right? Let's talk about finally being back at the bank. What happened? I missed the joke.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
What happened?
Just keep going. I'll tell you after the show, man. I'm not saying it out here. No, just keep going.
All right. Let's talk about Leagues Cup. All right.
Easy.
Brian, talk to us a little bit about this. First of all, how excited is everybody to be back at the bank, right? I feel like we haven't been at Bank of America for a hot minute, right?
What?
That stops the anxiousness.
Yeah, for sure. Brian, talk to me a little bit about this game against Necaxa and what Charlotte need, right? Because it's very interesting, right? We've got 2 points, right? Only in MLS Liga MX style tournaments where we see teams with 2 points, right? So talk to us about what Charlotte need, what has to happen. We know that Necaxa also plays tonight against FC Dallas, so we could see an eliminated FC Dallas as well. So talk to us.
Yeah, so I mean, the game tonight could decide things for Charlotte before they even get to the match on Saturday. That's what that second point, that PK point, provides. Like if Dallas lose tonight, Charlotte are into the next round regardless of how they play on Saturday. And even if Dallas gets a result tonight, I mean, all Charlotte really have to do is earn a point. So they can, they have to, at most they'll have to do is draw. That's what that second point provided them in this tournament. So regardless of how FC Dallas does, Charlotte are set up pretty well because of the PK win. And Necaxa have not been a good team. They are on like a 8 game unbeaten or winless. Sorry, 8 games winless. So like they're on a similar streak to Charlotte.
Yeah, but I was gonna say we say that, but Necaxa probably looks at us and like, yo, they haven't won
exactly.
games.
And we've been in this situation multiple times. I feel like we've said this before. Like, hey, we're looking at a team like Montreal was another great example. Like, hey, man, they haven't scored in 4 games, and so like these situations come up, and Charlotte ends up being kind of like sort of like the record breaker for these other teams. So pretty much Charlotte's main focus has got to be just not being that and come in with a lot of excitement, I think, for this game. And that's what I feel like Leagues Cup has shown me so far overall. When you just see the amount of Mexican fans showing up to all these games, I think it's a really, honestly, I've been really enjoying this tournament so far, just seeing the range of the wider range of fans coming to the different venues I've seen and stuff like that. I think it's a really exciting potential exciting tournament. So
For sure.
I'm excited to see what it looks like in Charlotte.
I think all these comments y'all have said are true at the same time, right? Which is hilarious. I feel I feel confident that Charlotte can get a draw, which
Yeah.
is what Preston says.
Which is all they need. That's all they
Yeah,
need.
Edward says, yeah, but Charlotte loves the Charlotte. And then Kyle said, so they're struggling. Enter Dr. Latanzio in Charlotte. We got the medicine. All of this is true, right?
It's funny because it's
We can
true,
draw.
right? Yeah.
Charlotte's going to Charlotte, and we absolutely love to give lifelines to dead freaking teams.
I know. Watch us get fucking hammered. Man.
David, talk to us about this Necaxa game. What kind of Charlotte are you expecting?
We need to have a Charlotte that will dominate the game, not a lethargic team. A team that starts off on the right foot, not gets a goal scored on them and wakes up and we come back and boom. Luckily, we got a PK shootout because we got a draw against Necaxa. We need to dominate this game. This is a Mexico side that didn't do very well last season. They finished 17th out of 18th, and they also only scored 16 goals throughout their whole season, so they're not a very attacking team. But we'll see. We just need a Charlotte that can connect, can get on the end of crosses, and just dominate the game. Have possession, dominate, and get on the end, score goals.
Big shots.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's a couple of things that are going to make me happy that I want to see from this game. From the start, I need to see energy from our players. I need to see that they want it, right? And not what Lucha says, where like if we're too loud, Latanz is going to say the players are going to get over anxious, right? That's one thing. I need to see energy from the squad. Second, I need to see Ben Bender start, right? It will be a crime if we do not see Ben play this match, right? Because he's come in and made a difference, right? And then lastly, I want to win. I don't want to draw.
Amen.
I don't want to draw and then go to PKs. We have to win.
Is that a Spanish word? Because I don't understand it.
Ganar.
Win.
You know?
What is that?
Win.
Yeah. What
He's
is
a Spurs fan, unfortunately.
Oh, I mean, I'm a Charlotte fan too. Like, you know, I don't understand what winning means.
Yeah.
Carry on. I messed up your whole.
No. I mean, I was done. Those are the
you had me at draw.
Three things: energy, start Ben Bender, and win a freaking game. Right?
You know what's really going to be interesting though? If we do win our group, and Miami keeps on the way they are, if we'll be the first turf stadium that Messi would show up at.
Dun dun dun.
Does he play?
And not play? No.
Nah, he's definitely gonna play. If we play them in Leagues Cup, he's definitely gonna play.
That's why he moved to MLS. He was like, God, I just got to play in the Leagues Cup.
I just need some turf, man. I just want to play on the turf. Like, where can I go, man, and play on turf?
Yeah,
for sure. He's gonna be like, what kind of field is this? You know. Speaking of them, they got a little counter going right now.
I know. Keep going with the show. We're not worried about that team.
Another goal, and guess what?
Oh wow!
Messi assist. Yo,
jeez, the goat. That's the difference between signings that other teams do, between the signings that Charlotte do. Instant impacts. You see the delivery. They make a promise and then deliver. We haven't had that from nobody.
That's Messi. I mean, Charlotte's never.
It's not just Messi. We saw it with Joseph Martinez for Inter Miami. He came on. First game on for Inter Miami, scores a goal. Boom. It was a penalty, but it's an instant impact. You feel me? But
I think the better comparison would be like the Yakumakis.
Yeah. So that's a good one right there.
Right, that's an instant impact, right? The beautiful thing is seeing ATL get cooked.
Yeah, I mean that's enjoyable, right?
Screw ATL.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good point too. De Jagere, I think.
Yeah.
Having him in the squad, right? Just given what's going on, right? I think we're still 1 or 2 weeks away from him getting his visa. So he'll definitely be back for MLS, right? So
yeah.
But they left him off the roster for Leagues Cup, right? He's not even on the 29.
I need to double check that, but yeah, I think you're right. Which is kind of sad. Why didn't they add him?
They just
because it makes too much sense.
We have no optimism.
They were expecting not to go far.
We don't have optimism, bro.
We
have no optimism.
Dang, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Right? Lee, what are you expecting from this match at the Bank?
To be honest with you, I don't know too much about a competition. I just hope, the way I picture cup games.
The white man not embracing Mexican culture. You hate to
That's
see
right.
it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't have any Latino friends, man. I run with my own, except for David and the Yeti clan. Right?
I'm gonna tell the hooligans too, boy.
You know what? See, there you go. Somebody put it up here earlier that y'all were missing all my jokes tonight. So, anyways, I don't really know too much about them, right? So I can't really comment on the team themselves. With cup games, the way I always picture it's a different environment, a different kind of feel for the night, And cup games are made though for the minnow teams to lose to the big guys. So if we're considered bigger than them, or Latino girls.
No more thoughts. That's for you.
Yeah, Guzman, man, full of it. But no, I would like to see us just win. Let's dominate a team for a minute, right? It sounds like we've got that possibility. Let's just win our group and let's move on. Let's bring Miami here and then let's talk about Miami next week.
Yes, sir.
For sure. All right, let's get into a couple of score predictions, right, for this weekend.
Sure.
Right. And I want to hear from everybody in the comments section. We'll start off with you, my man Lee. Talk to us. What are you expecting? Yes, Alejandro.
There we go. What am I expecting?
Yeah.
I'm expecting a hot day where even when I drink a lot of water, I'm sure I'll be dehydrated as hell because of all the Modelo's that the hooligans give me. And then, score-wise, life's not bad looking, is she? And 2-1 Charlotte. 2-1 Charlotte.
2-1 Charlotte. Who scores them for you?
Bender gets both.
Dang, a Bender dub. If Bender starts and score 2 goals, it's over for everybody, dog. That man needs to start every single game.
I tell you what, if he comes out and starts
Big
lighting
facts.
up the league, man, he's gone at the end of the season. Somebody's going to come in and get him.
I don't know. I think it's too early for that. But what I may end up doing is start putting graphics with us losing right before the games are over, so we can get over the line.
Hey, you need to quit posting that shit during the game, man.
Bro, that's the top big curse.
I know.
Anytime I talk shit about the opposing strikers, 2 minutes later they score. It's so uncute.
Yeah, they got the
And I'm
kid
like,
man
damn it, why
playing
did
and
I
he
say
scores,
something? I
right?
was mad. And then boom, they score.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Brian, give us your score prediction.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a really exciting game. Like we talked about before this Leagues Cup even started, there's an opportunity to build some momentum out of something they've lacked. So I'm hoping for a high-scoring, exciting game where they come out with a win. 3-2 Charlotte.
3-2 Charlotte. I love it. Who scores for you?
Bender, Swiderski, and then Miram gets one back. Gets back.
Miram?
Yeah, Miram.
He's going to play.
Why wouldn't Miram play?
Yeah.
Sam, Latanzio doesn't make logical decisions.
He started this last game.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
It stunned me there. I was like, wait, did you know something I didn't know?
No, I got no insider information whatsoever. No more than what you already know.
Bro, Lee has all the insider information. Don't let him fool
Because I don't ever go outside.
you. This guy.
Too damn hot.
David, my man, give us your score predictions.
I'm gonna go with 3-1 Charlotte. 1 from Swiderski, 1 from Arfield, and then 1 from Ajiman coming on as a sub.
Yeah,
Nice.
that big man Pat, right? I mean, honestly, talking
He just
about
can't stop scoring goals right now, man. That
Bro,
nigga's on fire.
it is men against boys with him at the Crown Legacy game, right?
That's facts.
I want to say shout out to everybody that showed up to that Crown Legacy game and stayed for the whole 7 hours. Right? We were there for like 2 hours. Then there was another delay. I was like, I got stuff to do today. I can't be here for the whole game. But even after the game ended, it looks like there was still a good amount of people left, right? Probably more people than there was in the Dallas game.
Oh, 100%.
Right, on Friday, right? So shout out to you guys, whoever went to those games, to the Crown Legacy game, right? It's really cool to see us supporting, our MLS Next Pro team, right? Our academy teams. I know Brian's cooking up something really cool for us with
I go
the
back to
academy.
the chemistry comments.
What?
Never mind, keep going.
Yeah, I'm missing all your jokes.
You are, man. You are.
I'm too busy mesmerized by Messi, bro. But I will. I'll give my score predictions as well. I definitely think we're gonna draw 2-2.
We win on
Who
penalties.
wins on penalties, though?
Do we win on penalties?
Yeah, we'll win on
Absolutely.
penalties,
We're great on penalties, dude.
for
I'm
sure.
impressed by our penalty takers
Yeah,
from
for
last
sure.
season and this season, to be
So,
honest.
I think we'll continue that streak of not winning, but we'll go through, right? So, I think 2-2. I say I like your Ben. I think Bender will score 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give one to Ben, and then I can't say Carroll again because that'll be the same 2 players that score.
Arfield.
So,
I won't mind seeing Arfield score one, man.
nah, I think.
Yeah, man. He deserved a goal this last week, man.
Nah, I
That's
think
some bull crap.
we're gonna see another Westwood banger. His first goal in MLS was.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
I'd love to see another Westwood banger, right? So
For sure.
this is a good comment too. Shout out to the Tifo crew who made the Goalie Wars banners and who made the belts. Yeah, that was really, really cool. Our
That was
Charlotte
dope.
FC team. When is Romero getting called up to Charlotte FC? I mean, if Ben doesn't play and he's a young player, Romero ain't got no chance right now.
We'll ruin his confidence, man.
Yeah. Maybe if we play Chelsea again, we'll see. Right?
We gotta wait for him to get consistent minutes at Crown League CFC before he gets a chance. He's starting there, but it's like pretty inconsistent.
Yeah.
And he's got potentially the U17 World Cup coming up. So I mean, he's just got other things to focus on right now, I'd say.
Will we be happy with this left back coming in? It'll most likely be an experienced left back. I'll leave it at that.
Hopefully.
30 and up.
Lee, my man, where can we find you at?
We're done. Oh, that went by fast, man.
Well, it's 9 o'clock.
Sheesh.
It is. We've got 2 minutes, man. Should I drag
We're
this
not done
in?
talking about
All right,
Messi.
drag it out, dog. Drag it out.
Yeah, drag it out. So, what y'all
Talk
doing
about
this
Messi.
weekend, man? Y'all doing anything fun? What
Yeah,
you
dog,
into
we're
Friday,
watching
man?
Messi, bro.
I heard there's a Charlotte FC game this weekend.
Yeah, you want to go?
Might go
Could
check
probably
it out.
score some tickets, man.
But I heard there's a dude that does interviews. His name is Top Bin 90 and CLTFC Fan TV. I might get caught by those dudes. You never know.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
you
kind of
can-
nervous though.
Yeah?
I'm kind of nervous though.
Why
I
is that?
definitely think I gotta say if Latandio stays past the season, I don't think Vinny Mello stays past the season.
Man, when are y'all gonna believe me, man? You've never seen him and Sir Minty together. Like nobody wants to believe me. Like whatever. You can find me at CLTFC Fan TV on all the socials, man. Hit us up out after the games on game day outside the supporters entrance. Let us know what you think about the game and that sort of thing. Obviously, we do our live shows on Wednesdays, an occasional watch along, and you can find us on Insta, Threads, TikTok,
For Red,
Facebook. Yeah, man. Should have named it Drip, right? Threads.
He said
Anyways,
he hit.
I'm done for the
Yeah,
night,
he's
man.
hit.
and what is this Twitter? It's called X now.
Yeah, I'm old school. I'm a lot older than you guys, man. So I'm used to MySpace and all that. So
Dang, bro had an AOL account, didn't he?
I did. I used to be in the chat rooms, man.
Nice, Brian.
Even
Well, man,
put out the
I
bulletin
can't
board.
say anything because I had one too as a kid. Brian, where can we find you at?
Yeah, y'all can find me on Twitter at Bam Mauer Media. You can also find all my written content at topbid90.com. We have a ton of Messi content on there. That's pretty much all we do is Messi content at topbid90.com. If you're really interested in that, that's where you can find it.
We haven't even. Hold on, wait a minute.
No,
Have
no,
we
no.
even dropped
Fuck,
anything Messi?
Good. As soon as you do, I'm unsubscribing.
You know what? We
Unless
do
they
that.
play against Charlotte.
I'm
Unless
glad you
Miami plays
mentioned
against
that.
Charlotte.
And I'm gonna take this up with
Only
our
fans,
writers
yep.
because nobody has brought into me an idea about writing about Messi.
We did one. Swayze did. Like when he first almost signed.
Oh yeah,
Oh, man.
We did one. We did the Messi effect one.
Okay.
It's just like us, and then like literally every other, like every single source did one.
yeah.
Of
I mean, the closest thing we've done is the turf. Actually, that is Messi. though, but-
yeah. So we've done two
It
already.
just wasn't
We
good
didn't-
enough,
we
was
didn't
it?
even know
It
We
just
did
wasn't
two.
good enough. It wasn't enough messy content, was it?
It wasn't, dog. I need to see him
I'm
every
telling
day.
you, I'm definitely gonna unsubscribe when I see that Messi article comes over in the Top Bin 90 newsletter. If it's all nothing but Messi, dude, I'm hitting the unsubscribe button.
That's how good Messi is. He's having us put out content. We don't even know we're putting out content about him.
Exactly. Messy effect.
David, where can we find you at, dog?
You can catch me at CLTFC Yeti Clan on Instagram and on YouTube. We just dropped a vlog not too long ago about the latest match. If you want to know, if you've never been to a game, if you want to know what it's like, game day experience, go check those out. They're pretty cool. They're a lot of fun to make and a lot of fun to be a part of in person too. But yeah, that's where you can find us.
I
It's
love it.
something.
And you know where you can find us at TopBin90 on all our socials. TopBin90ES, which is typically ran by Emmanuel, who you could tell if you're Spanish, you could tell that account is run by somebody that's Mexican.
He's a good.
Facts.
He's
But I
funny.
give him a hard time now.
He's
Like,
hilarious. He's hilarious.
he is funny, but I'm like, bro, you need to use more neutral words. You know what I'm saying?
We just won
But
the Gold Cup, bro. Let him be. We on a high, baby. We on a high.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that man live. All right. With that said, guys, thank you so much
Thanks
for
for having me.
watching Messi League Corner. You guys have a great night.
League.